Hello and welcome to Empire of Wargames. My name is ePlash and today I wanted to talk about two-player boxes in Warhammer as a whole, in Age of Sigmar and in Warhammer 40k. If you enjoyed the content, consider leaving a thumbs up, subscribing and checking the links down in the description below. Alright, let's get into the video. So, I have already made a bunch of two-player battle box videos in the past. They are all linked down in the description below or in the top right of the video if you want to check them out after the video or right now. The point is, I'm making this video because we have seen Indomitus last year and the new Age of Sigmar box Dominion this year. Both of these boxes are two-player battle boxes, but they are obviously different in that they are introductory boxes to a new edition of either system. Indomitus was obviously the introduction to Warhammer 40k 9th edition. Meanwhile, Age of Sigmar Dominion was the introduction to 3rd edition Age of Sigmar. Why do I want to talk about this? There are always two-player battle boxes in between, like Piety and Pain, Shadow and Pain for Age of Sigmar, and Fire and Magic, which is going to be the new two-player battle box for Warhammer 40k, including Thousand Suns and Grey Knights. Usually, those battle boxes in between, those two-player battle boxes, are nowhere near comparable to the new introductory boxes for a new edition. And I'm discussing this because I think that the introductory boxes for a new edition are going to be the new standard whenever a new edition comes around, which is every 3 years. That might change because of COVID, because a lot of people haven't even gotten to play a 9th edition game of Warhammer 40k yet. So it might shift to a 4-year rotation for this edition, but we will have to wait and see. That's just speculation on my part. Now, why do I want to talk about this? The point is that obviously new introductory boxes have a very specific purpose. They are meant to lure you into a new system, like for example Age of Sigmar. That's why they made the Dominion box as attractive as they did. With the book, with the additional models, with the general value you are getting out of it. Obviously, Dominion was the same way. They are trying to get you to start a new army, to split the box with someone and get maybe someone else to play the game, and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, those two-player battle boxes are meant for advanced players, quote unquote. They are meant for people who already either own the army. You can see that in the Piety and Pain box because the Sister Staff was very, very specific and not something you want to start your army with at all. Yeah, I just generally think that those boxes in between have a very different target audience. And while I agree that having different target audiences is a good thing, I do think that GW could improve on those in-between battle boxes and take a little bit from Dominion and Indomitus. Like for example, the basic thing they could do is add the softcover rulebook you can get in the regular command edition for Warhammer 40k, for example. Just a regular softcover, no lore rulebook. That would be a great addition and would make it interesting for veterans because veterans really like having the light book instead of the huge book you're getting in Indomitus or Dominion. And new players will have access to all the rules without having to additionally buy a huge big book. Another thing I think they could, take a look at from the other boxes is obviously to, look at the models you're getting, at the pricing and everything. I know that the introductory boxes are insane value and they are only new models and they are usually easy to build models or models with pins, which is basically push fit. But I think they could, at least get a little bit closer to offering their players or the people interested in those battle boxes a little bit more value than they have in the past. I think GW has understood that Blood of the Phoenix was one of the worst catastrophes they have ever released. And I think they have improved since then. I think Piety and Pain is a clear step up. And I also think that the other ones, Prophecy of the Wolf, of the Beast, whatever, was a little bit janky. But I think everything after that was pretty decent. Now I just want to reiterate that GW has been doing a great job. But I think the regular in-between two-player battle boxes could be improved because, as you've seen with Fire and Magic, one of my fastest viewing videos 2 months ago, a lot of people are interested in those boxes. And the factions you've included aren't even that massive. There are a lot of Thousand Suns players. I am fairly certain that's the case. But there are certainly not a whole lot of Grey Knights players. Grey Knights players are very rare, at least in my circle. I could be living in a bubble that just happens to have little Grey Knights players. But when looking through forums, when looking through Reddits and through Discord servers and taking a look at the numbers, how many players are active there, how many players are chatting there, Grey Knights do seem underrepresented. And yet people are interested in those boxes. And that's why I think opening up a little bit more possibilities to make this box maybe more beginner friendly or maybe more interesting for someone who wants to start collecting an army with one of those halves would be very beneficial for both GW and the consumer. And that's basically the point I'm getting at. Yeah. Other than that, I do think that adding the rules would be a huge value bump for the box. I do think adding some small basic things is not necessary if it really bumps up the price for GW, because everything has a cost. But adding dice and something to make it a little bit more beginner friendly is certainly something that GW could look into and improve on their in-between two-player battle boxes. When it comes to Dominion and Indomitus, as I've already said in the previous videos, those boxes are insane. Also not 100% beginner friendly, because you're getting 2 armies without anything else, and usually starter boxes like, for example, the Command Edition, they want to offer a little bit more. They want to offer the basic ruler just so you can play a game or two. They offer terrain. They offer the, cardboard mat you can play on. They offer a little bit more of the side content you usually don't focus on when looking at Warhammer 40k, because usually when you play Warhammer 40k or you look at Warhammer 40k, all you see are the models and the armies. You never really pay attention to the terrain or to the dice or to the rulers and all the other stuff to figure out distances and stuff. That's just the side content. But whenever you're a new player and you open a box, it's insanely more value to have all that stuff in there and to be instantly able to play after gluing your models together. It's just something to consider when it comes to marketing and to consumer friendliness and to the first experience people are going to have with a new box. Because a lot of people assume that those 2-player boxes are beginner products because they are 2 tiny armies or small armies, usually not even 500 points, to just bash your head together with a friend. Each of you play 1 half and that's it. That's just something to consider. And I felt I needed to talk about because Dominion and Indomitus are really great boxes. And I think that the in-between boxes are very lackluster in comparison. On their own, they are okay by now. But in comparison, they are really, really lacking. And comparing them directly is maybe not quite fair. And I understand that. A lot of people have pointed that out in my previous videos. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to talk about. Do you agree or do you disagree with my opinion? What are your thoughts on 2-player battle boxes, especially on the ones in between new editions, like, for example, Piety and Pain, Shadow and Pain, Prophecy of the Beast, I think, was one called Blood of the Phoenix. What is your opinion on those? How do you think they could be improved? Have you ever purchased one of those boxes? Did you keep both armies for yourself? Did you split them with someone? Having all that kind of information would be very helpful for me to just check and see what the general consensus is on those boxes. Just having a couple more viewpoints, different ideas, and yeah, maybe reflecting upon my own ideas to understand the community a little bit better. But these are my opinions. Take them with a grain of salt. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening. If you enjoyed the whole video, consider subscribing, liking, and the whole thing. All right, I see you in the next video. Bye bye.